Hello everyone and hello Mücahit.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm fine. What about you?
I'm good,
Are you
thanks.
okay?
I'm fine. Thank you for
Good.
asking.
It's good to hear that.
Yes, today we will be talking about the chapter of the role of presence in the online environment. We had chance to examine this chapter together online and we had took some notes about the important parts and the parts that took our attention.
Mhm.
And we had some we took some notes, we took some comments, we will be talking about them together. So I would like to start with why is it important to understand presence. Actually, the chapter starts talking the difference between in-person and online interaction. So it differs, these two different type of communication. Um, we would like to say that the body language is hard in video conference. So there are emojis to give feedback or express our emotions. So what do you think about the difference in person and online interaction?
Actually, you're right. There are completely differences between body language and our ways of expressing emotions. That's the reason I think there will be some problems while expressing ourselves to our students as a teacher or to ourselves expressing ourselves to our teachers as students because we are used to get communicate with our relatives face to face, not online.
Yes.
And for now we are getting used to, we are not completely used to, that's why we are getting uh, used to do this way or everything. And I think there will be very good in maybe 2 or 3 years because our generation is getting younger for online education, I think. Are
Yes,
you agree with me?
I completely agree with you. And actually, the chapter mentions that the presence includes telepresence, being there. I mean, actually, this means like we had took notes about it. For example,
Mhm.
it says like we have lessons on Teams. You know, sometimes we open our camera,
Yes.
so we create online environment. We feel like in a class, right? So this is a telepresence. Actually, there are two type, as you remember. The first
Mhm.
one is being there and being together with others. So let's start with being there. As I said, we have lessons on Teams sometimes. Open our camera, so we create our online environment. We feel like in a class. So as I know, you have been teaching online classes for a language school, right?
Yes.
What do you say
Yes.
about this?
Actually, telepresence is a hard way of teaching because generally students don't accept to turn on their cameras. They don't want to come to me face to face online system.
Mhm.
That's why it's hard to do this and it's hard to give education online
Yes.
and as telepresence. But in social presence, as you say, it's a little bit different. You can talk about this. After that, I will share my ideas about social presence. But it's,
Yes.
I think, better. Social presence better.
Yes.
It's easier, I mean.
Actually, yes, you talked about opening cameras. So opening cameras
Mhm.
is something important for online context, so we don't see each other. So when we don't see our faces, we cannot motivate from time to time, which is we as we know which is about being together with others. Opening camera is like communicating with others. So actually, As you remember, when we read the chapter, we had commented that being together can means being active in class, like being participator, active listener, right?
Actually, of course, this is right, because when your camera is on and when you feel being like coming together, it means that you are awake. You're not sleeping on the in the process of education or class. That's why you have to be active, both reading, both speaking, both, I don't know, grammar, I don't know, whatever you can say. But I have a question.
Mhm.
For example, now we are in the part of telepresence, right?
Yes, we have been told
We
by.
are now you and me
Yes, now, yeah.
talking, discussing. Yes, we are in telepresence part. What
Uh-huh.
about social presence? How can we react in social presence? This discussion, can we do it now?
Well, actually, for social presence, it can be commented as like being more active, communication in a two-way, listener and speaker.
Mhm,
Actually,
mhm,
we have the both role, so we can say that I'm comment this on the language teaching. For language teaching, when we
mhm.
design lesson plans, we should consider this actually. We cannot just apply our design lessons, the design lesson that we use for face-to-face education. We should arrange them according to, on distance context, online context. So if when we arrange them according to the online context,
Mhm.
this would be just better.
Can I ask one more thing?
Yes.
For example, we read this chapter together,
Uh-huh.
like it was on Discord, not Zoom, but we turned on our cameras and you shared your screen and we talked about the chapter again. This is the second time for us. I am asking the first one. We read and we talked about the chapter. Was it social presence or not?
It could be social presence, but not effective one. We
Why?
didn't,
Why it's not effective?
because the thing is like we didn't see each other. We just saw our profile picture.
No,
So,
your camera was on and mine
ah,
was on.
you're talking about Discord.
Yes, I'm talking about
Okay.
Discord.
Sorry. Yeah. Actually, yeah, the cameras were on. So,
Mhm.
and we were reading, and we were. So the important thing was I was seeing your face, your emotions, like
Mhm.
when we read something, so you, for example, you didn't agree with something, so I could see this with your emotions, body language, or something. So actually, when I see your face, actually, this motivated me better.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
So for every teacher, for every communication, uh, eye contact is the most important thing. One of the most important thing we can say. One eye
Mhm.
contact, because eye contact, it's like nonverbal communication, as we know. So when we have eye contact with students or the persons, with the other persons, the communication would be just more effective, more successful, we can say.
Yes, you're right. Thank you for your explanation.
Welcome. So actually, I would like to continue with this part. Actually, we have, uh, we have been learning and teaching on distance education context. So
Mhm.
distance education context, we can say like that there must be two way of communication, teacher and students. Teachers communicate with students. Teachers teach,
Mhm.
teachers shows, teachers speak, but also the students also should communicate, should join. So this part actually talks about it. So we can
Mhm.
say like there is an access between them. uh, Actually, so the teachers arranged this. Their lesson plan, as I said, according to this context. As we say, like we can see teacher make change on their comments or material. So we can participate and he can also, they can also arrange everything. Imagine the pandemic. Actually, I'm talking about, sorry, I talk a little bit confusing. Now yes,
No,
we
no,
have,
no. I got it.
we have been learning via, Teams or Zooms, right? So there, we can communicate with via this applications. Teachers can communicate, students can join, can express themselves, they can arrange the materials, right? But
Yes.
imagine the pandemic happened in before 2000s, like 80s. Then the distance education would probably via radios, right?
Yes, but maybe not. We are not sure about, because as I remember, there was a pandemic again in 1992 or something. Like it was Veba. Do you know Veba?
Yes. I heard
Veba
about it.
pandemic in Anatolia. I think, as I remember, as I know, they stopped educating people for
Uh-huh.
4 years or 5 years.
It's a long time.
Of course, it's a long time. It's a period.
So how they carry their education system on?
They just stopped for 5 years and they found vaccine. After that, they applied the vaccine people, and then they started giving education, as I know, as I read from journals.
So you mean like they just stopped for 5 years of period?
Yes, yes.
So the
In
sector,
Ottoman Empire.
I see. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it could be about technological improvements because at that times there was no way for distance education, right? No, even
Yes.
radios. I mean, uh, imagine the pandemic happened at 80s, so the radios could work. We could benefit from radios, right? At least teacher could keep speaking, keep teaching something, and the students keep they took note. They could took note, right? So yeah,
Yes, of course, you're right.
but we have the advantage of experiencing the pandemic in these years actually, because the world has improved, technological improvements. So we have enough improvements. We have enough systems actually to let the education system go on.
Of course, you're right. I agree
Yes.
with you.
Yes. So actually, so how is presence created? We'd like to talk about this. Actually, our teachers always ask us to open our cameras to participate, right? And you are a teacher,
Yes.
you do this. You ask for this. Actually, so I mean, there must be some strategies to create this environment, right?
Yes, of course, it should be.
Uh-huh.
Like, if you don't have any plan for motivating your students or for motivating your students for a goal, like
Yes.
turning on your camera, you will just waste your effort. It's just waste of a time.
Yeah.
Because you will motivate, they will activate themselves.
Yes. Actually, this paragraph tells us that some efforts must be put to create, presence by teacher and students. So presence is not a one-way thing. Some people think like only the teachers can create this environment, but no, also the students can participate, can help us on this. So what do you think?
Sorry, can you repeat your question? I couldn't understand
Actually,
completely.
you are both teacher and a student. Yeah. So
Like
you have
you
been,
are too.
You have been teaching and you have been learning in this pandemic period. I'm talking about distance education. Yeah. So creating presence is not one way thing. People think like teachers, only teachers can create this, but no, also the students should help teachers to create this presence, right?
Of course, it's interpersonal motivation and extra personal motivation. It's about this. And if you don't, yeah, actually, as I understand and as I get the real and main topic from the presence, it's completely about presence
Yeah, bring
and
presence.
motivation. This is like combined things,
Yes.
I think.
What I understand is like it is trying to survive in the distance education process. Online
Yes,
context, we can say, yeah.
why not? I'm
So
sorry, I have a problem about my throat.
that was. And actually, maybe you remember we had talked about this. Now we said like it said in creating presence. It's like two-way. Students should do something and teachers should do something. And we have examined. We have looked at Kenan teachers' lessons. So we have said maybe you remember like
What
when we
was it?
realize when we examine his lessons, we realize this. We care to interact. He cares. The teacher cares to interact with us by asking questions or doing surveys, right?
Yes, yes. This is completely his teaching way.
Yeah,
He's trying
actually,
to activate us.
uh-huh.
I'm sorry.
Which is a
Always is.
being with others. This is being with others in the context.
This is telepresence, I think.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this is and in addition telepresence. Yeah, and in
Yes.
addition, the teacher let us do pair works, right? In the class
Yes.
to create interaction, which is also being with others, surviving
This
in the
is
online context.
yes. This is social presence.
Uh-huh.
She is. I'm sorry. He is doing presence in two ways
Yes.
at the same time.
Yes. Okay. So we would like to continue with what we know about presence. Yeah. Actually, we have mentioned about this. I said like social presence is being survived in the distance education process. You commented on this and I commented on this. So we would like to I would like to continue with immediacy. Immediacy. Yeah, we have talked about this and we have said like turning camera. We have talked about this actually. Turning camera might be
Yes.
crucial to have social presence. Yes.
What about willingness?
Willingness.
Willingness and interest.
Let me open the
In
part.
English language teaching field, in the field of English language teaching, always researchers say that if students are willing to learn and if they are interested in English, they can learn in a short period and perfectly. What about presence and willingness and interest? Are there any relation between them or not? What's your opinion?
Exactly, there is a relation. We
Mhm.
can say like social presence, like it talks about here, gives learners a feeling of connecting and belonging to community. So willingness, which is something important. Teachers can do anything to motivate them, but all the students should try to survive in this distance education process. For example, when the English teachers they first teach grammar topics, okay, and then they continue with practicing. For example, they first teach present perfect, and then okay, the teacher says, okay, let's move to speaking part. So we now in this part we will practice present perfect. So let's speak. So in this period, in this part, actually students should be activator. Yeah,
Yes.
they should
Yes.
join,
Thank you.
and by this way they could help their teachers. Finally, actually, yeah,
Very good. Thank you.
we have been summarizing the chapter by talking the important points, the points that we liked, the points that took our attention. Finally, maybe remember we had
Yes.
wrote about the technological information on this process, and we took note about this. Like some students, they cannot catch with the features of learning management system. For example, when we just new started to do distance education, most of the students didn't know how to open the Zoom application, how to open their camera, how to change their background, right? So which was taking time and which was
I
affecting
think
the,
they even don't know what is Zoom.
yeah, we some of them have never heard about video conferencing. Yeah,
Yes. Maybe we know video conferencing because of WhatsApp,
yeah,
you know, like it has a feature that's video conferencing, but most of us even don't know anything about Zoom, Microsoft Teams. I don't know. There are lots of applications that we can use while teaching online as face to face like that.
yeah.
Online face to face. This is a
I
new term.
I agree with you. So I think that's it. We try to summarize the chapter by criticizing, by debating. So see you for next chapter.
Okay, it was very good. Congratulations for this very good debating or discussing whatever you say. Thank you for your opinions and moderating. Thank you.
Yes.
Have a good night.
See you. Have a good night.